Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Come on in to the webinar. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host this evening where we are going to get through this chaos of grants. Yes. As you come in, I want to know where you're coming in from. Let me know. Don't be shy. I see you coming in. Let me know your city and your state. I'm in the land. I'm in the land, not too far from Cleveland, Ohio. Yes, who? Dominique is from Iowa, Miriam from Virginia, Natasha from Los, is that Los Angeles? Yes, there's so many people coming in, I can't keep up. Maisha and Brian from Colorado, beautiful Colorado, and Shad from Nebraska. We've got Hawaii. Ooh, I'm going to be in Hawaii in a couple of months, and Florida and Maryland and Texas. Hello, and Sacramento. Come on in and look at Ohio showing up. I see you, Twinsburg. I see you, Twinsburg, Ohio. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host where we're going to get through this chaos called grants right now. Welcome to the Grant State of the Union. Come on in. Shantae is coming in from Michigan and LaShern from Columbus, Georgia. Hello, Cynthia from Imperial. Is that or Emporia, Virginia? Michael is bringing up our state's capital. Columbus is up in the house. Hello. Come on in, everyone. Come on in, get your front row seat. Get that front row seat. Get that front row seat. Hello, Angelina from Connecticut and Samuel from Baltimore. Hey, Linda. Linda is with us from the Big D, Dallas. Come on in and look at Bama. Look at Bama showing up. Huntsville, Alabama. Hello, is it Savine? Is that right? Or Savin? I'm just gonna butcher names tonight. And Melody from Las Vegas. Las Vegas is up in the house. Hello, Dr. Josh from Arizona, and our beautiful friends from Canada, Ontario. We love you, Canada. Monique is in the house. Hello, Canada. Yes, we love Canada. All right. And Verna from Dallas and Stephanie from Indianapolis. Come on in. Hey, Gerald from Memphis. I had some good barbecue in Memphis. Hello, everybody. Hello. Chi-Town. Chi-Town has shown up with Kathy. And look at Texas. Texas is up in the house. Yes. And is it Tamatha from Lumpkin, Georgia, and Raina from Hereford, Texas. Hereford, Texas. Hey, Angelina, I'm excited too because we are getting ready to get you through this maze called grants, right? We are getting ready to get you over the hump, right? We're going to be clearing some hurdles tonight, all right? Because we are going to talk about how you still, yes, today, March 12th at 7:05, how you still can get grants, all right? For your nonprofit or your small business. All right? All right. Welcome. Is it, I might butcher her name, Arlinda? Arlinda from Inkster. Where is Inkster? Where is Inkster? Michigan, Michigan. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I am so glad that you decided to show up, right? Because we know part of it is just showing up. So you showed up, and I'm so glad. And we're going to get started because I have a lot of information to share with you, and I do mean a lot of information because I need for you to understand what is going on so that whatever you do, you keep moving. You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving towards getting these grants. All right. Hey, James from Mesa, Arizona. And hello, Coach Jay from South Carolina. Keely is on a business trip in DC and she's still joining us. Well, I am honored to have all of you here from many different states and areas of the country. So welcome. I am going to get started. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host for this evening. Now, I'm getting ready to share my screen, and yes, we're live. So every time I share this screen and I'm live, I always have to say, Come through, technology. Come through, come through, come through. All right. I believe we are in the right place here. So I am going to share my screen now. The first thing you're going to see is just my little 30-second TV commercial, because what it will do is just give you a hint of my background and how I am able to help you as we move through this grant maze. All right, all right, all right. All right, let's see. Nope, didn't work. So let's try it one more time. We're going to share this screen. All right, so we're good there. Let's go back through here and try this one more time. All right, that is looking good. That is looking good. All right. All right. This is looking good. All right. We are ready to rock and roll. So let me make sure everybody is in the right place. This is the Grand State of the Union, March 12th at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, everyone. So you're going to see just this quick little commercial, and then we're ready to rock and roll, as we say here in Cleveland. All right.
Hi, I'm Linda Peavy, owner of LaPav Consulting. My passion is to place your organization on the path to excellence. Are you struggling to communicate your message, reach target audiences, or secure funding? From marketing communications to grant writing, we achieve your goals. We've worked with high-profile clients and have secured $17 million in funding for charter schools and nonprofits. Call today to discuss what your success looks like and how LaPav Consulting can help.
All right. All right. Let's get started. All right. Now, let me share my background. Yes, they call me the Grants Queen. Some of you know me, right? They call me the Grants Queen because I have secured over $17 million in grants and funding. And this is year 17 of me owning my company, LaPav Consulting. And every one of those years, I have served as a professional grant writer. I provide grant writing all over the country for many different organizations. I've taught grant writing for the Urban League and for Goldman Sachs and so many other organizations. And I am a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program. My undergraduate and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And yes, I am a member of Forbes Black, which is an organization of Black leaders affiliated with Forbes magazine. Now, I have a business, but I used to lead a nonprofit. So I want to know who is here with me today. Let me know in the chat. Are you a nonprofit or a for-profit, meaning you are a small business, or maybe you are both? Because I'm finding that for-profits are starting nonprofits and nonprofits are starting for-profits. So let me know. Small business, meaning you're for-profit, nonprofit, or maybe you are both. Let's see who is here with us today. Wow, a lot of both. Excellent, excellent. Nonprofit, for-profit. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So the reason I ask you, a church. Oh, do I have some information for you churches out there? Yes, you can get grants. I see an author. Yes, there are grants for authors, right? Now, why do I ask you this? Because I need for you to understand right from the beginning of this presentation that there are grants for both entities. There are grants for nonprofits and there are grants for your small businesses. So you're in the right place because we're going to talk about grants for both. All right. All right. Now, let's keep it moving. Now, how did I get here? How did I get in this space? Because I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania. There are quite a few people here from Pennsylvania. I lived in Valley Forge, not too far from Philly. And I was there for about 10 years and then I got hurt. When I got hurt, I had to move back home to Cleveland to recuperate. Literally came home in a wheelchair. Was on a flight. Sitting across from me was Patti LaBelle, but that's a story for another time. But I came home and it literally took me 2 years to recuperate. And after those 2 years, I could not find a job because my experience was in professional publishing. And if you know anything about Cleveland, you know it is not like the publishing mecca of the country, right? So I couldn't find a job. And that is when I started LaPav Consulting. And it's been 17 years, haven't looked back. Well, one of my first contracted positions was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. Now, I don't think I was there for 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant that would literally pay for my salary, right? That would save my job, thus saving the organization. I had never seen a grant before. I had zero knowledge of grants. But you know what? I did it. I researched. I wrote that grant. I won that grant, and it paid for my salary for an entire year. And I knew then, yes, you can write and win grants, one with no experience, just so you know, yes, you can. And then it made me understand what you can do with grant money, right? How about hire support staff? Are any of you tired of wearing all 20 hats in your organization? How about getting money to just operate? Are you tired of digging? Look, I'm old school. Are you tired of digging in your pocketbook? All right, I'm old school. I say pocketbook. I don't even say purse. Are you tired of digging in your pocketbook or your pockets for your money to fund your organization? Right? These are just a few of the things that grants can pay for. And we'll talk much more about what you can do with grant money. All right? All right. Now, why are we even here? Because we need access to money. And so we're going to cover today why this class is even important. We're going to talk about the current grant landscape. This is the grant state of the union. I'm going to get you together about what's going on with grants so that you know how to move forward. We will cover just grant basics. And I'm also going to show you how do you prepare to apply for these grants. You must become grant ready. And then what do you write in these applications now? How do you write these applications so that you are getting noticed in a sea of applications by organizations that literally want to still give you funding? And then I'm going to literally show you how to conduct grant research so that you are finding these organizations that still want to fund you. And then we're going to go through the hot funding areas. Yes, they exist. Like, where should you truly be looking for money right now? And then we're going to do a Q&A now. Let me say this. This is not the time to be shy. This is your opportunity to ask a grants expert and a grants instructor questions about grants. So as we move through, I want you to drop your questions in either the Q&A or the chat, either one or the other, because at the end, we're going to go through and do a Q&A, a live Q&A. All right? So don't be shy. Drop your questions in either the chat or the Q&A as we move forward. And let me say this to all of you. I am here to help you. This is year 17 of me being in this industry. I'm here to help you because you need help. You're going to need help to navigate what's going on. Therefore, you are going to get this replay for free. I am not charging you for this replay because I want you to have this information. So you will get the replay for free. You will likely have it tonight, if not early tomorrow morning, and you will have it forever. I'm not putting some expiration date on this information because this is very important what we're going to talk about today. So don't worry. I go a little swiftly, but you're going to get the replay and you won't have to pay for it. And you'll have it forever. All right? It's time to get going. Now, why are we here? Because we need access to money. And guess what? It shouldn't always be about loans. We want grant money because grant money is free to you. But guess what? Each and every one of you, you can do this. You can write grants. You can write grants. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You're not sitting in some corner writing some 500-page document for 3 months at a time. I know, because that's exactly what I used to do. Some grant applications are 2 and 3 pages. Yes, only 2 and 3 pages. So you can do this, but after having won almost $18 million now, I can tell you that there is a process to winning. And it is about more than you just answering a question and sending off the application. That's a great way to get a rejection letter. So I'm going to teach you the process, right, as well tonight. All right. All right. Now, let's go through the current grant landscape. Let's talk about what is going on. So we know that the current administration has proposed significant cuts, right? Maybe a month ago, there was an executive order where they attempted to freeze all federal grants and loans that didn't work. It had to be rescinded. However, during that time, I got phone calls and text messages. People were just in a panic, like, Linda, there are no more grants. There are no more grants. They froze the grants. We're going to talk about that in a second. So what's going on now is that there are still executive orders and budget proposals, right, that are literally targeting federal agencies to make significant cuts in federal grant funding. Keyword federal. Department of Education, SBA, NIH, HHS, right? And yes, it's going to impact your federal grants, right? So there's going to be some delays and maybe some of those federal grants being dispersed, right? There's going to be far more stringent compliance rules, right? And then there's been a huge priority shift, right, to non-social grants, right? I'm talking about federal grants. So you're going to see more funding funneled towards like infrastructure grants and defense grants and economic growth rather than your typical social initiatives. And yes, it's going to have somewhat of an impact on some of your state level funding, especially if the state level funding relied heavily on federal money. All right. But here is the good news. Federal grants do not equal all grants. And this is why I literally had to start creating these videos and putting out this information because people were in panic. Like, oh my gosh, the federal grants, they were frozen. That means there are no more grants. No, no. Grants come from thousands of resources. And I rarely even talk about federal grants because one, they're difficult to get. They're usually large dollar, they require experience, and they usually require some type of a partnership. I typically talk about when I am teaching your private, community, family, and corporate foundation grants. And your private, community, and family foundation grants, they're typically giving to nonprofits. Your corporate foundations are typically giving to small businesses. But here's the news. Here's the good news. This money is still available. The money from foundations has not been affected. That money is still available. So I want you to understand that this money is here and somebody's going to get it. So why not you? Right? But what I need for you to start doing is diversifying your funding. Like, don't ever put all your eggs in one basket. So your organization should be receiving grants, right? And sponsorships and individual donors, right? That are contributing, and your corporate contracts and your donor advised funds, right? Those are usually funds that require the money to be given to a particular area by a donor to the foundation. So that's the good news, right? The money is available. So these existing grants, even the federal grants that are in progress will likely continue. But guess what's going to happen? As they start decreasing the amount of federal money, your corporate and private and community foundations are stepping in to cover these gaps, right? Because they're far less affected by what's going on politically, right? Because they're corporations or they're private foundations or they're community foundations. So you're going to start seeing an increase in your community foundation grants, your corporate foundation grants, your private foundation grants to fill in these gaps, right? And even at your state and local government grant level, they're going to continue providing the grant money. Now, they may be getting less grant money from the federal government, but your state and your local government still have grant money. So that's the good news. I need you to be encouraged, right? Regardless of what you are seeing on TV, right? This money is still available through your foundations from corporations and communities and private entities, right? So people be encouraged. And we'll talk a little bit more about this even more because I just happen to believe, right, that there are sources that want you to stop. They want you to be discouraged. They want you to stop going after grant money because keep in mind, grant money is free. It's free to you, right? So that's why I need you to keep moving forward. Now let's talk about DEI, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the backlash and what it means for grants. And we know that DEI equals minorities, women of any ethnicity, your veterans, the disabled, right? So what's happening with DEI? There are fewer public DEI grants, right? Because those are your government issued funding grants, right? So we're seeing the federal government erase DEI programming, pull DEI funding, right? Threaten private entities that they need to pull DEI funding, even though they're private entities, right? So what does this mean? It means more competition for what's left. It means more competition for the grants that remain, right? And so if you are a minority-led business or nonprofit, and I know that I have everyone on here with me today, and that's wonderful. If you are a minority-led business or nonprofit, right, then yes, there's going to be increased competition for this private DEI funding, right? So what you may have to do is rebrand and reposition your mission and your programming to use different wording. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. But here's the good news. Here's the great news. And I have been in the room with some of the largest organizations in this country that are doubling down on giving money to DEI, to diversity, equity, and inclusion, which includes women of any ethnicity and minorities and veterans and disabled, right? Organizations like the Ford Foundation and the Kellogg Foundation publicly committing to DEI funding. Why do you think they can do this? Let me know in the chat. Why do you think that organizations like the Ford Foundation and the Kellogg Foundation are like publicly committing? Yes, DEI is important to us, and we're going to continue to fund in that area, right? Carla says big money, right? Zara says better for business. Demisha says they know better. Ta Natasha got it. But it's even more than that. Natasha says they're private, but it goes even more than that. These are two of the largest foundations in the world, right? Have you heard of a saying called old money, right? Old money. This is old money, right? The Ford Foundation, Henry Ford, the Kellogg Foundation. Who doesn't like a bowl of cornflakes, right? And so they are so ingrained in how they give. They were giving to DEI before it was popular. The Ford Foundation and the Kellogg Foundation was giving to DEI decades ago. Decades ago. So the money that they get, and we're talking about multi-billion-dollar endowments for both of these foundations, have been given to them throughout, right, decades and decades and decades. But also, it's not just your private foundations, it's corporations like Google and Apple and Delta and Costco that are recommitting to DEI. Now, they may have to restructure their programs a bit and change around some wording. But again, I've been in the room with many of these organizations that have publicly said, look, this is DEI is important to us. You're threatening to maybe pull some of our funding. You'll see that some of these organizations will change their wording a bit, which is what some of you may have to do. And I'll show you how to do that. But this is the great news. These organizations are doubling down on their desire to fund everybody, right? To fund everybody. And that is what is important. All right. All right. Now, what does this mean for you to have to rebrand and maybe reposition your messaging, right? So here's what's happening. I don't want you to change who you're serving, right? I don't want you to change the target population that you're speaking to and that you are providing your resources to. It doesn't matter if you are a small business or a nonprofit. You don't change who you serve. That's ingrained in your mission. You may need to change how you state who you serve, right? So, for example, you may have to reframe those proposals a little bit differently. So instead of saying you are an organization that empowers racial equity or your programming uplifts racial equity, use economic empowerment, because there are certain terms that are becoming flags, right, for organizations not wanting to provide funding. So instead of saying racial equity, economic empowerment, because there's been this big shift now to really workforce development programs and entrepreneurship programs, right? Getting people to work. So instead of labeling programs as minority focused, shift it to economic and job growth initiatives, right? If this is the area where you are providing programming. So it's just a rebranding of your message. Doesn't mean that you change who you serve, right? So this is what I want you to do so that you don't give any organization a reason to reject your application. So if you have DEI initiatives, focus on the economic impact of your program or your service, like workforce development, business expansion. Is this the outcome? Instead of having it be identity-based funding, right? That's one. That's one thing you can do. Next, strengthen your application partnerships, right? So you may want to collaborate with larger institutions that have funding stability, meaning that they've been receiving grants for years. So there's ways that you can collaborate with them on the grant applications, right? Which will instantly give you credibility, right? If you're connecting with a much larger organization and that much larger organization is getting the grant and maybe you are providing a portion of the services that they are offering, right? You can still speak to the fact that you have been part of receiving this grant. And then here's what we call quiet DEI, right? So again, just rephrasing terms. So some funders, they're still supporting minority-led initiatives, absolutely. Like those foundations we talked about. They're just using less politically sensitive language. So if you go to some of their websites, and I've probably been on the websites of maybe 200 foundations in the last maybe 2 weeks, and some of them haven't changed a word. They have no issue saying racial equity, minority-based, minority-led, but there are others that are changing the language, right? Not changing who they fund, just changing the language. So they'll use terms like community development and economic growth grants and workforce development and workforce advancements and entrepreneurship grants, financial empowerment, business expansion programs. Do you see how this works? They're changing the language a bit. They're not changing who they give grants to. All right? All right. Now, let's see how you can do this. Let's see how this works for you. I want to give you an example, and then you apply it to your programming. And again, this is if you have a program that specifically serves ethnicities. So use language that's going to what? Highlight inclusivity, highlight equity, highlight underserved populations without explicitly naming a specific racial or ethnic group. So let's say you have a program that offers youth development opportunities for Black boys. That's who you serve, and that's wonderful. That's what you do. So that's your old language. Your new language is using broad but intentional language, right? We provide youth development for historically underserved or underrepresented boys. Our program supports boys from marginalized communities with skill building opportunities. We focus on equitable access to youth development programs for boys facing systematic barriers. Or just go with emphasizing socioeconomic and structural barriers. We're going to get this grant money. All right. Even if we have to change some words, we're going to get this grant money, people. Serving boys disproportionately impacted by economic and educational inequalities, right? Providing culturally responsive youth development for boys in low income and under resourced communities. Empowering boys from historically excluded backgrounds to succeed academically and socially. You're not changing who you serve, you're just changing how you explain how you serve them. Supporting boys, let's go with the legal and maybe some institutional language. Supporting boys from communities designated as high need or underrepresented in STEM. Advancing youth development for boys who face systematic obstacles to professional success. And the last one, bridging opportunity gaps for boys in communities with limited access to mentorship. So use this format, use this formula to reword it a bit so that you're not automatically excluded because you're using terms that organizations don't like. All right? All right. Hope you got a good understanding of that. Now, we're going to talk about the grants. Grant basics. What do you all need to know? Grants are not paid back, regardless of what you're seeing on social media. Grants are not paid back. All right? Now, for the next minute, I'm only talking to nonprofits. Get your 501c3. That is your tax-exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. All right? Now, even if you are a church, even if you are a school, you still need this 501c3 because foundations are required by their boards that they can only give their money to a nonprofit with a 501c3. Now, the good news for you is that it's only taken 6 to 8 weeks to get the 501c3. All right? It used to take 6 months. So get your 501c3. Yes, you can have more than one 501c3. So please, please, please keep asking questions. I'm going to get to them all. Now, from this point forward in the presentation, I'm talking to everybody, not just nonprofits, everybody, right? Especially with this next slide. People, look at this slide right now. U.S. grant annual funding, foundation and corporation bequest giving $189 billion in 2023. Bequest giving, very small amount. Most of this is coming from what? Foundations like your community, private, right? Foundations, and then your corporate foundations. Do you see federal grant funding anywhere on this screen? No. $189 billion. This money was available 3 weeks ago, and it's available now. It is going to be given out. So the question is, how is it that you're going to place yourself in a position to get it? And I want you to think about this number, $189 billion, billion would be, that's a lot of money, but I don't want you to see it and get intimidated, like, oh my gosh, Linda, there's no way I can get any of this money. It's just too much. Because at the end of the day, you just need what you need. So right now, I want everybody right now to put into this chat, I just need a little bit. You just need a little bit of $189 billion. That's right, everybody. Katie Ann, do you need it all? Shauna, will you take just a little bit? Kim, do you need all $189 billion? Melody, Tanya, will you take a slice? Ivy, will you take a little bit? Michael, thank you. Just, somebody said they need the crumbs. Okay, I'll take the crumbs that fall from $189 billion. Thank you very much. Look, somebody claimed it. I can't even see who it was. Somebody said, look, I don't know what you're talking about. I need $100 million, right? Look, claim what you need in the chat. Claim it. Claim it, right? Because somebody's going to get this money. Why should it not be you? All right. But first, because they call me the Grants Queen, and it's kind of chilly here where I am in Cleveland, I'm going to be giving you nice cups of tea all evening. And this is the first cut. People is called Grammarly. Now, if you use Grammarly right now, give yourself some love in this chat right now. Right now, if you use Grammarly, give yourself some love in this chat. What is it? It is a free software editing tool. A lot of people are using Grammarly. Ivy, Angela, Lakeisha, yes, Pamela, Dr. Shakila, Gloria. It is amazing, people. What is it? It is a free software editing tool. You download it onto your computer. It will self-correct as you write. Now, it doesn't matter how many degrees you have behind your name. I have several. I'm a professional editor, a professional writer, and a professional grant writer. I wouldn't dare write without Grammarly. And it's free, people. It's free. So download Grammarly, and courtesy of Grammarly, download this article. Improve writing skills dramatically by doing these 15 things. We're dropping the link into the chat. Why am I even talking about this? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. No, 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 no. We're not going to do that. It's easier than you think. Download Grammarly, use Grammarly or some other software editing tool, please. Nadine says I use it every day. Yes, it's free. The basic package is free. I use the professional version, which there's a cost to it, but the basic package is fine. All right, and it's free. All right. Now, what are we doing? We are preparing to apply for grants. You need to be grant ready. Get your documents in order. Get your EIN, your employer identification number. Nonprofits, get that 501c3. Now, if you are a small business, be a legitimate small business. Do you have your articles of incorporation? In some states, you need a business license or a state certification. In Ohio, you do. In Wyoming, you don't, right? It depends on the state. So find out. Go to your Secretary of State's website, find out whether or not you need a business license to operate in your state. Now, you need a list of your board members. Now, nonprofits, you know it's mandated that you have a board of directors, and no, they cannot consist of solely your family and friends. No, 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 no. But get your list together. That's another webinar. Any staff members, letters of support will serve you well. They should come from key stakeholders. It will strengthen your application. Who are they coming from? Your vendors, could be your pastor, could be the church, could be politicians if you know them, right? Community leaders. Get those letters of support together. It will strengthen your application. Now, all of you, every single one of you, even you startups, need an operating budget, but don't be fearful of this, because all you're doing is creating a draft of what you think your expenses are going to be for the year. And you must know approximately how much money it's going to take for you to operate over the course of a year. It will also help you to determine how much grant money you need. All right. Now, if you are currently operating, you need your financial documents, your balance sheet, and your profit and loss statement. Your profit and loss statement is just another term for your income statement. All right. Got it? Got it? Got it. I see some great questions. Keep asking them. Now, what I'm going to do now is go through the typical components of a grant application and give you best practices as to how you write each component, right? To continue to place your organization in the best light. All right. We're going to start with the summary abstract because it is the very first part of that grant application. But guess what? Don't be fooled. You always write it last. Complete the grant application. Then go back in, pull out the most compelling components and dump those components into the summary. Got it? So you see it first, you always write it last. We're on to the mission. This is critical. I often get asked, Linda, I have a for-profit. Do I really need a mission statement? Absolutely you do, because that mission statement, whether you are a nonprofit or a small business, is going to lead you to the organization that wants to give you money, because you're going to align your mission to their mission. So if you are laser focused on K through 12 education, you need to be finding foundations that have a passion for K through 12 education. And you don't change your mission statement based on what organization you're seeking money from. No, your mission statement stays the same. It's static. It defines who you are and what you do and your aims and your goals. You need to be seeking foundations that align to your mission. So if you don't have a mission, that is homework 101 for you. Homework 101. All right. Now, history section. Don't ever leave this blank because all of you have a history, including you startups. So if you are a startup, I want you to think about what was the impetus for you starting your organization? What were those activities that were happening? Because they led to the founding of your organization. Therefore, they become a part of its history. All right. Now, leadership, that's easy. That's your executive director, your CEO, but you always include your board of directors because they are very much a part of your leadership team. Now, this section here, this next section, this is how you are going to separate yourself from everybody else. Because when you write this application, I need you to think about one word in the forefront of your mind is impact. What has been the impact of your organization on those for whom you serve? And it doesn't matter your industry. You could be opening up a restaurant. How many people are you serving? Or you could be implementing a homeless ministry. How many homeless people are you placing in shelters? Use real numbers. Because what we're seeing now is the rise of impact-driven and mission-based grants, right? The whole feel-good initiatives over. These foundations are looking for impact. What has been the impact of your organization on your target population? So, grants that align, especially again with this economic growth, we keep hearing this word in workforce development, are really, really, really hot grant items. All right. So even if you have not yet opened, maybe you have a organization where you provide resources, maybe tutoring resources to middle school kids. You haven't opened yet. You can still talk about what you want your impact to be. I want my impact to be that by the time they complete my program, they have increased their reading proficiency scores by 3%. So whether you are open or opening, you talk about impact using real numbers. Now, this is where a lot of you will need to rethink how you see your organization because you must write this grant application as if you are solving a problem or addressing an issue. And oh, there's always a problem. You have to rethink how you see your organization. I love using the example of a bakery. Bakery, for-profit organization wants to locate in a downtown community, needs a $20,000 grant. Now you might be thinking, what issue is she resolving, right? She's making what? Cake all day. Maybe she decided that she was going to open up a vegan bakery because vegans don't have a lot of great places to buy baked goods, right? So she's solving their issue. Or maybe it's economic development because this has been an underrepresented community that she wants to help with the revitalization. Whatever that issue is that you are addressing will lead you directly to the foundation that wants to give you money because they're giving money to fund the same area. That's where you have to know where and how and when and who foundations give. And how do you do that? You go to their websites. The problem is 90% of foundations don't even have a website. That's where you have to get really creative, right? And how you're able to research and find information out about foundations. Now, this is where a lot of you get into trouble. I've been a business coach for 16 years now. I serve as a coach for the Women's Business Center. They're part of the EIDC that's funded by the Small Business Administration. And when I ask people, who do you serve? Who's your target population? Too often, you know what I hear? I help everybody, Linda. I have a heart for helping. I just, if they come my way, I have to help them. No, no. You cannot help everybody. You cannot help everybody. I want you to hear me on this. You cannot help everybody. This is how you get burnt out, people. You should have one, maybe two target populations, because if you tell me it's one of these, for example, you tell me you help the homeless, I'm going to ask you the homeless who? Niche down. Homeless veterans, homeless women, homeless children. You help veterans? What kind of veterans? Veterans that need PTSD counseling, veterans that need transitional housing, niche down. One, maybe two. target populations. And people get excited about writing these grants. This is your opportunity to tell your story. That's what a grant application is. How you've changed lives, what type of outcomes you've been able to achieve. Again, whether it's for-profit, nonprofit, doesn't matter your industry. And there's no better way of you showcasing impact than using video. If any of you are currently open and operating, you have your client pick up their cell phone and give you a 30-second video testimonial. And that video goes on the homepage of your website. And yes, foundations do go to your website to take a look at your footprint, right? But storytelling with data, that's it. These applications now, you have to show measurable results or what your intended results are going to be. No longer can it be about just some good intentions, like I want to help people. You want to help people how? Who you want to help? What do you want the change to be? What do you want the outcome to be? Again, whether you're opening up a restaurant or you're helping veterans with a PTSD program. All right. Now, all of you have a decision to make. Are you asking for operating or program project money? Operating money, we love to get, right? Because when you get an operating grant, you get to decide where to put the funding. It could go towards your salaries, your lease, your IT. It's really to help you pay for your infrastructure, right? Your administrative fees, to help build up your organization. Only about 32% of foundations give general operating support. Most of the grant money has to go to a particular service or project or program of your organization. Let's take that restaurant. Maybe she wants to create a delivery service, right? So that would be a particular project. All right. So decide when you approach a foundation, are you asking for operating or program project money, and where are you spending it? Now, here's another takeaway that's important. You must apply to multiple foundations, people. Why do you think that is? Let me know in the chat. Why do you think it is important to apply to multiple foundations? Yeah, bigger reach. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Bigger reach. Competition. It's a numbers game. Increase your success. Somebody got it exactly. Who got it exactly? Coquenta. Grant money is not guaranteed, people. I don't know. When I speak with my colleagues, right, we cannot figure out for the life of us where this came from. And I see it all the time on social media. Free grant money guaranteed. No one is denied. No one is turned down. If you see this, if somebody approaches you and says they can give you some guaranteed grant money, I want you to do one of those military turns, those about faces, and run in the other direction, because you are about to be scammed. And I hear horror stories almost every day about people being scammed because somebody told them they could guarantee them some grant money. You have to apply to multiple foundations because grant money is never guaranteed. All right. I really need for you to hear this because people are being scammed. Like, protect yourself. All right. Now, I cannot possibly overstate the importance of each and every one of you creating community partnerships. This is going to be more important than ever before because remember what's happening. These local communities, local community organizations, right? A lot of the foundations are going to be picking up the slack of what's happening on the federal level. So you need to be ingrained in your community. And let me tell you, some of you have great programs. Nobody knows about the program. Nobody even knows about you in your own community. This is why it is so important that you connect with well-respected organizations, and this does not have to be difficult. Let's say you have an accounting firm. It's tax season. You could give a free tax talk at your local library. And yes, I think libraries are criminally underutilized. I really do. What is it going to do? It's going to increase your level of visibility because foundations are constantly seeing who's doing what in their communities, right? You know they're going to promote you. And also connect and collaborate. And this does not mean an exchange of money. It depends on the nature of the relationship, the nature of the partnership. Maybe it's just you being able to provide your resources and your services, right, to build up that particular organization. We're talking government agencies, economic development organizations, universities, right? Business organizations, Greek organizations, the Y, right? Boys and Girls Club. Let me give you another quick example. Let's say a gentleman has a reentry program, right? So he's wanting to help people who are released from the criminal justice system back into society become productive members of their community, right? Now, everybody wants that recidivism rate to be low, right? That's the rate at which prisoners go back to jail. Everybody wants that to be low. Now, you know he has to get to the prisoner before that person is released to make sure that they qualify for the program. This is a reentry program, making sure they have what they need to be successful. Into the chat, who do you think he should be meeting with? Who should be his community partners? Let me know in the chat. Reentry program, who should he be meeting with? Right? Law enforcement, yes, absolutely. The DOJ, the Department of Justice, housing, right? You don't want the person to be homeless, right? There could be some transitional housing, right? Drug and alcohol programs, probation, Vivian, yes, parole boards, James, Department of Corrections, Susan, mental health organizations, right? Maybe they're addicted. Oh my goodness, GED programs. Ashlyn, how many did we come up with? 12, 15 clothing providers. Rachel, do you see how easy this is? I want each and every one of you to do this. This is your homework, people. I want you to name 5 organizations that you are going to partner with. And don't just write them down. You're going to partner with them. Do what you need to do. Set up the meetings, right? This is your homework. Each and every one of you, name 5 organizations. This is your homework that you are going to partner with. And by the way, when you create the grant application, it doesn't mean that you've already created the partnership, but you can at least list them as potential partners, right? This does not have to be difficult. And guess what? Many of those organizations, even the ones that were listed, they know where other funding resources are. So you connect with them, they may be able to refer you to other funding opportunities in your community. All right. Now, you have to list goals when you are writing these grants, and they can't be regular goals. They have to be SMART goals. A lot of you know what these are, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So let's say I have a literacy program. I want to teach kids how to read. I put down as my goal in the application, I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland. Well, that's a nice goal, but that's not a SMART goal, right? A SMART goal would say, I want to reduce the poverty rate by 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5 within a 5-year time frame. That's a SMART goal. So into the chat, what did I do? How did I change the goal into a SMART goal? How did I change the goal into a SMART goal? Dominique got it right off the bat, just immediately. Added measurables, 5%, Cleveland, Hispanic children, under the age of 5, 5-year time frame. Anytime you want to change a goal into a SMART goal, you add data and stats. Now we're off to the money. You're going to create a grant budget, and this is where you're going to lay out how you are going to expend your money, and you must itemize these expenses. So if you need $50,000 for an executive director, you really can't just put in, I need 50 grand for an ED. No, be specific. Is it a contracted person? How much are you paying this person an hour? How many hours are they going to be working a week? How many weeks out of the year? You need supplies. How many do you need? How much is each supply? Who's using the supplies? And how are those supplies supporting your goal and your mission? Everything goes back to your mission. And how you describe how the executive director or the supplies is upholding and supporting your mission goes into the budget narrative. So the budget narrative is where you're going to describe and explain your use of the funds. The actual numbers go into the budget, usually an Excel file. But as I always say, when you are creating your grant budget, always explain how the money that you're asking for supports your goal and supports your mission. All right. Now, everybody, this slide here is probably the most important slide in this presentation because this is as important. And I say this all the time. This is as important. This is probably more important than anything you will ever write in the application. You must meet with the foundation before you submit these grants. You need to build this relationship. You want to meet with them. You're trying to get their funding, right? They want to meet with you. They're considering giving you their grant funding. And in this meeting that happens, they will oftentimes share information and details with you about the grant and really what they're looking for and how it may match with what you're providing. And oftentimes that information is not going to be found on their website. I probably set up 1,000 of these. I always think of one meeting, 30-minute Zoom meeting. My client got $30,000, 30-minute Zoom meeting. Yes, most of these are Zoom meetings. Now, if the foundation is located near you, meet with them in person. But think about the national foundations, right? You need to meet with them over Zoom. But this is important. You cannot skip this step because oftentimes this is the deciding factor as to who gets the grant money and who doesn't. Now, I feel it. I know what some of you are saying. I know what some of you are saying. You're like, Linda, this sounds fine. This sounds okay. It sounds good. But I don't have time for this. I do not have time to write these grants. Remember what I said to you before, that some of these grant applications are literally 2 and 3 pages. They really are. A lot of them really are. And so I have a question for all of you, and I would like an answer in the chat. I have a question for all of you. I would like an answer in the chat, especially those of you that are saying, I don't have any time. Do you have time to get free money? Like, do you have time to get free money? Let me know in the chat. I don't know if anybody has time to get free money. Oh my goodness. I'm saying absolutely. I'm saying heck yes. I'm saying I will devote time. I'm saying definitely. I'm saying like yes, 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 yes. I'm saying I'll make time. I'm saying I will make the time. I will create the time. Yes, please. I'm saying always. I'm saying I will walk to the office. I'm saying HELL. Yes. So it seems to me, it seems to me like you've got time to get this free money. So I need for you to spend just a little time on the process to get the free money. All right. So this is what you're going to do. I'm trying to make it easy for you. You're going to create an email. You're going to send this email to the foundation. In the email, you're describing your organization, who you serve, how you serve them. You are, this is the most important part, aligning your mission or your programming or your project or your service to where they fund. You are never asking for money in this email. You're asking for a meeting. And in the meeting, you're asking for money. Got it? Got it. All right, now it's time to find the grants. It's time to find the grant money. These are resources here that I want you to use. Now, Google is fine, but you want to utilize a resource that specifically houses information on grants. The Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on grants in the United States. $50 a month to subscribe. Now, this is what it does. It's not going to get you a list of grants, but it will give you the organizations that provide grants. So let's say you're in Detroit and you have a program where you help veterans to get into transitional housing. You input that information into FDL. It's also called Candid. They changed the name to Candid, same organization. And it will give you a list of organizations that fund those kinds of programs. Now, I said $50 a month to subscribe, but guess what? FDO is free, completely free at your local library. Yes. Grants.gov, that's your source for federal grants. Lilly Foundation, yes, if you are a church or faith-based organization, there are grants for you. Grant Watch. I love Grant Watch, $20 a week. and they give you the grant, right? The grant synopsis, the sponsor of the grant, the contact information, the deadline, $20 a week or $200 for the entire year. Grantstation.com is $200 for the entire year, and they also give you information about the grant plus a lot of free training. UrbanAwarenessUSA.org, they are dropping literally like information on 4 to 5 grants every single week. So sign up to their free e-newsletter. Tell them Linda sent you. Now, let me show you really quick how you conduct the research. This is Grant Watch, $20 a week, right? Or $200 for the year. You check, are you a nonprofit or a business? And you start completing these filters. Who's your target population? What is your area? Fashion, right? Financial literacy. You check your location and you push a button and you get a list of grants. Now, let me say something to all of you about location, because I know that many of you are leaving grant money on the table. Don't be seduced by these $2 and $3 million government grants. They're difficult to get. Start local. It is easier to get local grant money. And this is going to be more important than ever before, because we're going to see a lot of these foundations locally increase their giving. Meet with them. If you simply Googled local community foundation near me, local community foundation near me, one will appear. Meet with them. That alone will get some of you some grant money, right? But don't disregard the national foundations, right? Because there are more of them. Again, as I always say, just because the foundation is in Texas doesn't mean they're not giving money to you and you're in Tennessee. And then for my international friends, absolutely all of these searches are for you as well. You could live in the United States and serve a population in Belize. You could live in Belize and serve a population in Belize. Yes, you search for international grants as well. Keep in mind, remember, a lot of these organizations are global. They're not just giving money to U.S. organizations, but this is Grant Watch, $20 a week. And let me just go through where some of the hot grant areas are so that you will know. So which industries and sectors are literally like actively looking for people to apply for their grant money? Health and wellness, mental health initiatives, healthcare innovation, telemedicine funding, high priorities, economic development and workforce grants, right? Still, federal and state programs are still focused on job creation, right? Workforce training, entrepreneurship, technology and innovation grants, AI, cybersecurity, tech startups, right? Agencies like the National Science Foundation, they're still providing grant money. Environmental and sustainability grants, right? Green energy, community resilience and disaster recovery grants. These are just a few areas, right? And then we see in these industries, they've increased their funding. So they're literally giving out even more grants in these areas, right? Healthcare and telehealth. I mentioned that earlier. Grants for underserved populations. The Robert Johnson Wood Foundation is one of the largest in the world that provides grants to health disparities. We talked about STEM and AI. There's still federal and private tech grants available, right? Sustainability, energy, and climate action, right? Anything from climate resiliency to solar power, renewable energy. And again, you're going to hear a lot workforce development and job training. Job training. Do you have a job training program? Community and economic revitalization, right? Infrastructure, small business recovery funds. These are important areas. So your private foundation grants, so important. And they're in every community, people, every community, right? And we talked about this earlier. They're less politically influenced. So that's why they're going to be filling these funding gaps when these federal grants are going to be cut. Foundations are increasing their corporate social responsibility funding despite the DEI backlash. So we talked about Ford and Kellogg. There's Bank of America. They have hundreds of millions of dollars. and grant funding. Chambers of commerce, right? A lot of the chambers, they have foundations that provide grant money, right? So this becomes important, but what do you have to do? Make sure you are aligning your mission to the mission of where these organizations are giving, and then leverage any type of corporate partnerships that you have or create corporate partnerships, right? Again, doesn't matter your profit status. Doesn't matter whether or not you are a for-profit or a nonprofit. Community development, economic empowerment grants, right? The economic growth and small business support. These grants fund Black-owned, minority-led, women-owned businesses, community development businesses. That's where the focus is going to be. They're just going to switch the language around, right? Where are you going to look for these grants? Community Development Financial Institutions, CDFI. And then again, your local chambers. For all of you small businesses, join your local chamber. Many times they offer grants. Do you work or serve in an opportunity zone? Talk about your underserved communities, right? There's grant funding available. Make sure when you are writing this grant that you are always telling a story using that data. That's what we talked about earlier. Your climate, tech, and innovation grants, right? National Science Foundation, automobile manufacturers, Google Green. These are current grants right now. Your Small Business Innovation Research Grant, right? Are you inventing something? Right? Your EPA grants. Partnering with your local government will help. And did you know that your local government has grants? They don't oftentimes they don't oftentimes communicate that, but yes, your local government, your city, your municipality, you need to be meeting with them. You need to be meeting with them. We talked about health education, workforce development. I mentioned the Robert Wood Johnson, not Johnson Wood, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Any program you have, whether it's nonprofit, especially nonprofits, if you are dealing with health equities, yes. Even Google has a career certificate fund, right? Workforce training, upskilling, community health. And this doesn't just mean adults, right? You could have one of those youth development programs, right? Where you are training them on a particular skill. This is not just for adults. So keep that in mind. And yes, for the international community, there are grants, right? The United Nations Development Program Fund, Open Society Foundation, right? These organizations provide grants globally, and maybe your reach is global, right? So you could certainly be living in another country outside of the US, but maybe you're in the US, but you have a global reach. You should be reaching out to these organizations. Their focus typically is on racial equity, social entrepreneurship, and sustainability in those particular areas. And then in the US, education, health, and then your social impact. All right. Now let's talk about some alternative funding sources other than grants, right? Remember I said diversify. You can always crowdfund, right? Get community support. You want to crowdfund? Some platforms are GoFundMe, Kickstarter, Global Giving, and I Fund Women. Especially if you are a woman who is maybe living outside of the US, I Fund Women, definitely. Fiscal sponsorships, right? So you may be a small organization. You can literally apply for funding under the umbrella of a larger nonprofit so that you're receiving funding too, but under the umbrella of the grant that the larger organization is going to receive, because you're going to be providing some aspect of that program. Where can you go to get fiscal sponsorships? Here's just a few. Tide Center, Fractured Atlas, National Network of Fiscal Sponsors. All right. Remember, you're going to get the replay. And last but certainly not least, your government contracts. There are billions and billions of dollars, and I do mean billions of dollars given every single year. And not just government contracts, but corporate contracts. So if that's what you're going to pursue, make sure you get your certification if you are a woman-owned or a minority-owned business or a veteran-owned business, right? So yes, you'll have to go through sam.gov, get your UEI number, your unique entity identifier. There's no such thing as a DUNS number anymore. And then go through the certification so that you can be an MBE or a WBE certified organization. But don't rule out corporate contracts, especially. And no, you don't have to be large. You can be a solopreneur and get a corporate contract. All right. Now, these are just a few grant recommendations, just a few. HelloAlice.com. If you're a woman-owned business, sign up. If you're a brick and mortar, maybe you have a physical location. Main Street Grant, Wish.com. You have a beauty product. L'Oreal has a grant every single year. Amber Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 every single month. NASE, self-employed grants, right? Do you need an angel investor? 37angels.com. Are you a startup? I won't go through all of these. Are you a startup? Busy and Sky's the Limit. They both have startup grants. Now, you might be saying, Linda, I don't know if this is for me. I'm teeny tiny. I'm so small. Small organizations, solopreneurs can get grant money. Yes. You don't need to be some huge organization to get grant money. Solopreneurs can get grant money. Or you might be saying, I don't have some huge organizational chart. I don't even pay myself, right? I don't have any paid staff. Did you know that all volunteer organizations get grant money? All volunteer organizations. All right. And yes, churches get grants too. So these are just a few. If you have maybe a Black charity, there's support Black charities, church, faith-based organization, Lilly Foundation. Are you in research and development, small business innovation, right? Now, really quickly, into the chat. I want you to drop in the chat for me. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money, banks and money, banks and money, banks and money. What comes to your mind? Debt, loans, deny, interest rates. Did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money? Period. I know this says women on, you can just ignore that, right? Because we're talking about two for-profits, any for-profit, any nonprofit, banks. And no, it doesn't have to be your bank. It could be a bank with a great presence in your community, maybe a headquarters office or a regional office. We're not talking about loans. We're talking about grant money. I'm in Ohio. One of the largest foundations in Ohio is the Key Bank Foundation. So I'm going to give you 4 super hot leads because they're all, as we speak, giving grant money. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, and Truist. Now, TD Banks, I think, is the only one that's giving money solely to nonprofits. The others give to for-profits and profits. Let me say a few words about artificial intelligence. If you're using it, wonderful. Just be careful. It is a tool, not a replacement. At the end of the day, you're going to need to understand how to write this grant application, at least the basics of your mission and your need statement and your impact statement and who you're serving and how you're serving. And then you feed that into AI and you ask it to perfect your answers, but you got to have the basic understanding. Now, it can help you write faster and better. Absolutely. It is amazing. But there's no magic button that you push and poof, the perfect grant application. That's not how AI works. You have to feed AI, right? So use it, but use it wisely. All right. So these are your next steps. Identify at least 5 funding sources from this webinar. If you have to reframe your mission statement and align it to these 2025 funding trends, I want you to learn how to write the best grant application to showcase your organization. And I want you to have a goal of applying for at least 3 new grants in the next 60 days. You can do it. And follow up with those funders and build those relationships before you submit those applications. And you've got to use data to strengthen the applications. And yes, you can book a strategy call with me and more. We're going to get into that now because this is my bonus surprise. This is what I've created to help you. And you need help right now because this grant industry is a maze. I have created a grant writing course. This is literally how I won $17 million. I put it into a course. It's soup to nuts, but it includes my coaching because remember what I said earlier. This is about more than you just writing an answer in the grant application and sending it off. That's why my coaching is going to be important. Now, this course will teach you how to write every part of a grant narrative, your mission, your need statement, your impact statement, your budget. And it will teach you how to in-depthly, literally find these organizations that want to give you funding. But here's where the coaching comes in. Let's say you set up that meeting with the foundation, right? Do you know what to say in the meeting? Do you know what questions to ask? Do you know what to bring? Do you know what to hear for? Do you know what the buzzwords are? Do you know what video to show? Do you know what questions to ask them? The course will teach you how to write your budget. Do you know how much to ask for? Should you be asking for operating money or program project money? Right? That's where the coaching comes in. You come into our private Facebook group, which is remarkable. So many grants in that private Facebook group. You come in there, you ask the question, right? And you get a real answer, not from a bot. And I'm in there a lot. I always kid, you'll be sick of seeing this face in our private Facebook group. But this is what you get, 12 modules in this course, 35 lessons. There's a video in front of every lesson, is step by step. You can do this. But here's where the course is different than other courses. I have been hired over the last 70 years to build grant applications, to literally write the questions. I have utilized those questions to build this course. So you're answering real grant questions to build what? A beautiful grant template. So by the time you're done with this course, you have a template. You're ready to start applying for grants because you have created this template with the support of a community and with my help. So you're ready to go. You're ready to start applying for grants. And yes, you get real examples, real grant examples, and every grant example I wrote and won money. And I'm doing something nobody else in this country is doing right now. With my course, you get a list of over, that's right, 600 organizations that are providing grants. And I talked about the private Facebook group. As the young kids say, that Facebook group is lit. It just is, because the students want every other student to win. They're dropping more grants in here than I am. And there are chat groups that they created to collaborate. This is not about competition. This is about collaboration in the Facebook group. And then you get 1 hour of group coaching. 1 hour of group coaching. That's not just 1 hour. That's 1 hour every single month, because I'm trying to place you in a position and not just write a lot of grants, but to literally win grant money, especially in this environment. Now, these numbers are important because this is not what you're paying for the course. This is what my course is worth. I've had my course audited 5 times now, and it's on par with the university courses. Only you actually get more in my course than the university grant writing courses. You get 12 modules, 35 lessons. They're worth $3,549. The videos are worth $599. The funding list is worth $499. The workbooks, planners, and grant trackers, you know you have to stay on track, right? Worth $350. This is what I want you to see. Now, this is what I want you to know about me and what I give to this community. I give this grant writing course for the lowest price I possibly can to this community as my way of serving, because I know it can help you. I know that it can help you. I have my coaches think I'm insane. They're like, Linda, why are you not charging $2,000 like you're supposed to for your course? It's because I know that this is going to help you get grant money. And I don't want the cost to be a barrier, right? So it's valued at $5,000. That's not what I charge. I charge $997. Typically, you'll see it for $497 because I'm just trying to make it affordable. But you came on to the Grand State of the Union. I know you could have been somewhere else at 7 o'clock, right? You let me know that you need help. So guess what? Take $200 off of the $497 and pay $297 for everything. The entire course, the Facebook group, the group coaching call. I have services that are probably exponentially more than this. But this course, I keep it low so that as many people as possible and organizations can win. I consider it a privilege to be able to teach you this information, right? So it's 297 one and done, but you have to use this code, right? The grants 2025. And if you need 2 months to pay, you've got 2 months to pay. Pay 175 a month for 2 months. Put a T on the end of the code, grants 2025, T like two payments, right? Let us know that you want the 2 month payment. And you read right. You didn't read wrong at the end. The course never expires. How many times do you see this, people? When I said I'm here to help you, I am here to help you, right? The course never expires. This is everything you get. The letter of inquiry is very important because some organizations are using that as a gatekeeper. Like they want you to create this LOI, it's about 2 or 3 pages, and then invite you to apply for the full grant. That's why I have an entire lesson on it and examples of how it should look. There's examples of every part of a grant. There are real grant examples. There are templates. Remember I said you must meet with the foundation? I have a template. I have the email template. Remember I said you need to create partners? I have the partnership template that you send. I have the grant writing template, the entire application template. You need financial documents? We can get you templates, right? So this is everything you get. If you want to buy the course, the link is in the chat. If you want to buy the course, the link is in the chat, right? It's $297 for everything. I'll take you through how you buy it if you want to. Remember, you're getting $200 off of $497. So when you click that link, and I want to make sure it's the link for the course. Yes, thank you. It's the link for the course. This is what you're going to see. Click that link there. It will take you to this page here. This is very important for you to see. You're not paying $497 because you have a coupon. Most people don't even have a coupon. They really don't. You have a huge coupon. Your coupon is taking $200 off because you came on the masterclass tonight. You'll pay $297. Just input the code, right? And you see this little block here. Oh, this is important. That is a 1-hour VIP session with me. Remember I said you can create that strategy call, 1 hour with me. And in that hour, oh, we're going to have a good time. Because before you and I talk about grants, oh, we're going to go through your mission and your vision and your infrastructure and your target population. You're going to walk away with a little mini list of local and national grants. It's $495. It is a strategy session. You do get the video and the session notes, $495. The only time is $195 is if you buy it with the course. You have to buy it with the course to get it for $195, right? So we actually have something new, buy now, pay later. Literally, people, it's $297. And by the way, you write it all off. You write it off. It is tax deductible. It is an educational expense. So you write it off if you are a for-profit. If you are a nonprofit, it's an expense, right? But the $297, or if you add on the $197, the $197 or the $195, 4 months same as cash. Affirm, Afterpay, Klarna. 4 months same as cash. Yes, you can literally stretch the $297 over 4 payments, or the $492 if you buy the $195 VIP session with me. Stretch them out if you want to, right? It's available. 4 months same as cash. You might get a grant before you even pay for the course. So if you want to take advantage of the 4 payments, right? And put your coupon, take it down to $297, add the $195 if you want. That's the VIP 1-hour session with me. And then keep hitting this box over here until you see Affirm and Klarna and Afterpay. You may have to go through 2 different boxes where you say pay another way, alternative pay method, until you get to this block here. And then, yes, we take credit cards, bank withdrawals, but if you want the 4 payments, same as cash, you can do this. Plus, we do also take PayPal, Cash App Pay, Google Pay. Now, if you want to just pay us 2 payments, you can. The 2 payment plan for us, just hit 2 times 275. That is the payment plan. That's what everybody else pays, by the way. But you have a coupon. Input your coupon, right? Grants 2025 T. It will take off $100. You're only paying $175. And guess what, people? I don't drip my course. You need this information now. I don't wait until the 4 months payments, the 4 months worth of payments are done, or the 2 months worth of payments are done. No, you need this information now. So you get it immediately. Immediately. So it's really on an honor system because you pay the 175 and I know you have another payment to make. You still get everything right now. The course, Facebook group, right? Now, for those of you who want a more detailed experience, a more immersive experience, and this is really based on just demand, right? I have a grant writing boot camp. We have condensed 2 months worth of work into 2 days. At the end of those 2 days, you will have completed a grant template and you will have completed a grant application. We go through the whole process with you. We go through the state of grants, the grant writing process. You get the course free. You get the course with the boot camp, right? I will teach you artificial intelligence. This is my private boot camp, 2 days, right? We will create a list of community partners for you. I'm going to do a grant walkthrough so that you see exactly how a grant application has been approved. You will complete a grant template. We will find a list of grants for you. You're going to do this. I'm going to help you do this. We're going to choose one grant and we're going to complete that grant application. So at the end of 2 days, you are ready to go. And we create an implementation plan, right? So you get all of this. It's worth $12,500 because you get all of these bonuses. So it's 2 days, March 27th and March 28th is $1,997 or 2 payments of $1,249. So that link is being dropped in the chat. So that's the grant writing boot camp. 2 months worth of work in 2 days for those of you who want to get ready. I literally just came back from Seattle, where an organization wanted me to teach them privately over the course of 2 days because they didn't have time for months. No, they're like, I need to get this done. I need to get this done, right? And so I flew to Seattle to teach them over the course of 2 days. And they were ready. They had the grant application all completed at the end of the 2 days, right? And the next program, the last program, if you want ongoing accountability with me, I have grant writing coaching, either a 3-month program or a 6-month program, right? This also includes the course. This link is in the chat. The 3-month program is $19.97 or 3 months of $7.97. And this is what you get. 3 60-minute one-on-one calls, a complete grant review. I charge $1,500 to review a grant. To review one grant is $1,500. You get this entire program for $19.97. 3 60-minute one-on-one calls, a complete grant review, the grant course, the artificial intelligence guide. I'm teaching you AI, templates, the Facebook group, the monthly group coaching calls, the grant trackers, or if you want a longer program, 6 months for $3,797 over the course of 6 months. And you get a little bit more because now you get 3 complete grant reviews. And I am creating an in-depth course that will teach you how to write grants with artificial intelligence in depth, right? Will be worth at least $1,000. I'm going to give that to you for free if you buy the 6-month course. So 3 months for $19.97, 6 months for $37.97. This is if you want ongoing accountability and strategy and research and AI, and most importantly, implementation, right? Allow me to help make sure that you are applying for these grants, right? So these are the 3 packages here. The course, just the course, $297, or the grant boot camp, $19.97, or the grant writing coaching is either $19.97 or $37.97. Now I want everybody to look at these slides here. This is Whitney. Do you know that Whitney didn't think she was going to get any grant money, but she bought the course. She followed my advice, $200,000 in 1 year. She did exactly what I'm asking you to do. She started local. And if any of you have local utility companies with foundations, please apply because they usually have pretty deep pockets. She got $40,000 from the Southern Power Fund. Then she did what? She went national, right? You got to go national. Apply to your national foundation. She got $50,000 from the National Birth Equity Collaborative. She has a almost like a dual organization where she makes sure that women who are underrepresented have healthy births. Kanisha, not even 2 months ago, $100,000, right? A massage company got a $20,000 grant. They said, we are so very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing, life-changing. An LLC, masseuse, right? Alicia got a nice little Thanksgiving gift, $40,000. Christina is an educator. May I share that I'm so grateful for Linda. I would not have even had the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for her grant writing course. Like, people, you can do this. She won her very first grant. I get that question all the time. Linda, I've never received any grants before. Can I win a grant? Absolutely. And guess who won the LegalZoom grant? Emily, $10,000. Quanisha got that elusive Walmart grant. She bought the one-on-one. She said, Linda, I always laugh when I read this. Thanks, Linda Peavy, because that one-on-one we had is getting my organization funded. People, it's time for Q&A. It is time for Q&A. Now, when we get to Q&A, ask me the difference between a grant and a sponsorship. You will want to know. And the links to my programs are in the chat. All right. Now, I'm going to stop sharing because we're going to do Q&A. And people, it is go time. All right. I don't say this to scare you. I don't have to, because it is March 12th. Do you know that there is more grant money at the beginning of the year than any other time? Why? Because some grants are first come, first serve. And what I don't want you to do is be discouraged and give up, right? Before we get to the Q&A, I just need for you to do one thing for you, not for me, for you, because I believe in manifestation. I believe in manifestation. All right. I want everybody right now, because I know some of you have been, you've been procrastinating a bit. Like, time is out. Time is out. You got to get in this game to get this money. So I want everybody, before you leave here, everybody right now to write into this chat right now. Get it from up here through your fingers into this chat. I am ready to get grant money. 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 Use your code. Use your code to get the discount. Use your code. It will literally say, have a coupon. I'm going to show you live how to buy the course. But before we do that, I need for everybody, please, for everybody, you got 3 days to get this discount, 3 days to get these prices, 3 days. I need for everybody to do this, not for me, for you. That's what I'm talking about. Dominique, Vivian, Gloria, Karen, Jasmine, right? Tamika, I'm ready to get grant money. Amy, I'm ready to get grant money. Tahira, I'm ready to get grant money. Stacy, Kim, Junko, Gloria, Rookwood, yes. Lakeisha, write this down. Right, get this manifested. Like, write this down. Get this out of you. Denise, CJ, Natasha, Pamela, K. James, Ruth, Dr. Shakila. Hello, Dr. Shakila. Brenda, Nia, Jean, right? I don't want this to be just an exercise. I want you to have this manifested, but sometimes you got to do something to move forward, because a lot of you have been holding on to opening up a nonprofit or opening up a small business for too long, or you've been using your own money and you're just about out, right? This is free grant money. Those people that you saw with the testimonials, they're all in the Facebook group. You can go in and ask them how, what they did. They're real people, all in the Facebook group. The code is in the chat. Melissa, if you could continue to drop the code, this is very important. Continue to drop the code in the chat. So the grant writing for non-writers, use the code grants 2025, grants 2025 T. And really quickly, I'm going to do this live. I'm going to show you how you order live, just so you have the information. All right. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. This will only take a moment because people are asking. So, all right. So you want to buy the course, click the $4.97. All right. You have a coupon. Grants 2025. Input your coupon. You see how it took off $200 immediately? Now you're at $297. You want the one-on-one with me? You leave it perfect clarity after that 1 hour, especially if you have like 10,000 ideas. Click the box. Now you're at $492. If you don't want the one-on-one, unclick it. Move forward, put in your email to create your account. Now you can pay with PayPal or credit card, but if you want the 4-month same as cash, just keep hitting pay another way, pay another way. And then until you get to Affirm, Afterpay, Klarna, you can always pay with a credit card, Google Pay, Cash App. That is where you put the coupon. Now, let's say you want the 2-month payment plan, right? Hit 2 times 275, purchase now, right? Have a coupon. This is going to appear. Have a coupon and put your coupon code. This is Grants 2025 with a T. It will take off $100 from every month. So now you're only paying $175. If you want to add on the $195, you can. All right. So just wanted to quickly show you how to do that. All right. All right. We are at the Q&A. So I am going to, so when you buy the course, you're going to get 3 emails. This is super important. You're going to get 3 emails. One email will be the link to the Facebook group. Oh, you want to be in the Facebook group. Then you're going to get an email asking you to create your username and password. You're not waiting for me. This course is online, self-paced. You come into the Facebook group with your questions, right? It's self-paced. And then the other email will be a welcome email, but you will get the email with the Facebook link. All right. All right. So we are going to start in the Q&A box. Can you qualify for grants under an LLC? Absolutely. Those are your small business grants. Best place to find operating grants. I went through that. I gave you 6 or 7 different places where you can search. I am both. Yes. Do you know that you can get a grant for your nonprofit and your for-profit at the same time? You want to know how you do it? Let's say you apply for a grant. I want to give you an example. Let's say you have an after-school program. In Ohio, if you have an after-school program, you have to provide the kids with something to eat. So let's say you have a tutoring organization, you have a nonprofit, you want to tutor these kids after school, but you know you have to provide food. Maybe your for-profit is a caterer. So you can literally write your for-profit into the grant to say that the food that we are providing these kids, they're coming from my for-profit. So that's how you can join a nonprofit and a for-profit into one grant application. All right? All right. Yes, you write it off. It's tax deductible. Are there grants available for childcare owners? Oh my goodness. I was asked to provide a special grant seminar to childcare owners as a Facebook group. So it forced me to really do a deep dive into research. When I say billions of dollars, there are billions of dollars for childcare owners, and I'll tell you why. Because childcare is considered early childhood education. Therefore, the money is coming from where? The Department of Education. So what you need to do is look to your county and your city and your state, because a lot of the federal money that's coming from the Department of Education in the form of childcare is being filtered down through your state and your county and your city. So yes, there's so much money available for childcare owners. All right. Let's see. I would love to be able to write a grant to help my bosses for-profit pay salaries for the people who work with the special needs children to get supplies for her business. There are so many places to turn that I'm not sure where to start. Well, that's what the course is for. We will get you started. Literally, it is step by step. That course is step by step. So for your for-profit, the operating grant will give you money for the salaries. All right. However, I want everybody to hear me on this, because this is a good example. Do you know that each and every one of you, you have multiple categories where you should be seeking grants? Multiple categories. Let's use her as an example. She has an organization that is helping to serve kids with special needs, children with special needs. Now, she says, my boss, let's say she's a woman. I'm not sure. It says anonymous. Let's just say she's a woman. If she's a woman, she can look for grants that are just geared towards women-owned businesses. That's one area. She's a for-profit, so she can look for grants that are geared towards small businesses. That's two. She wants to pay for salaries, right? So now she should be looking for operating grants. That's three. She's working with kids that have special needs. That's two. One, she's working with children. So look for grants that are geared towards organizations that serve children. And then five, she said special needs. Look for grants that are geared towards organizations that serve people with special needs. Five different areas where you should be searching for grants. And this pertains to all of you. This is why it is important to be in a community that can help guide you to get grants, right? And not just give you a grant course, but equip you with what you need, right? To better position your organization to actually get grants. No one wants to write a bunch of grants that they're not winning, right? I am currently interning at an organization as a grant writer. Congratulations. That has ongoing grants, but they don't have a grant tracking calendar or management software to do my job effectively and not the money to get software. What should I do to do my job effectively and get the training and experience I need? Well, you can certainly buy the course. I've been a grant writer for 17 years. Now, there is a grant tracker in the course. There's a grant tracker in the course. And there's also that will help you keep your calendar. Look, you can literally open up a separate Google Calendar to track your grants. There's a grant tracker in the course. Now, the management software, let me just say this to you. If you have money to buy it, great. It is not a necessity. If it is expensive, it is not a necessity. However, some of the grant writing portals, like where you search for grants, sometimes they will provide you with some of the management software. So Grant Station, that's $200 for the whole year, will help you track the grants inside of Grant Station. So that's like a $200 investment, and they will help you track the grants. So there's many different ways. I'm sure there are others. If you buy the course, you come in to the grant writing course, you come into the Facebook group, you ask me these questions, I will certainly, give you more help. All right. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, we've already discussed DEI. She was concerned about the New York Times article listing the various DEI related terms and language that the federal government says is inflammatory. We've already done that. So you should already know what terms to use instead of your typical DEI terms. All right. Most grants that I have been seeing is government based. That's interesting. SBIR and other grants are being cut, as you know. That is true. I have a healthcare product that I develop and I need marketing dollars. So still apply to the SBR grants, but that seems to be where you're looking. Like I've shown you that there are thousands of resources for grants. You haven't been looking in the right place. You should be looking through the foundation directory online, right? Now, also when people buy the course, they use me as a resource, which is great, right? And sometimes the questions that I get in the online, remember we have a live group coaching session with me that's live, that's monthly. People will ask me questions that have nothing to do with grant writing, which is fine because they relate to business. Now, you're in research and development. You're in R&D. So you should be applying to the SBIR grant, but there are other grants that are non-government related that will provide you with R&D money. There are private foundations. You need to know where to look. However, for example, I know Lisa Ascoli. She is the QVC queen. She is a Shark Tank consultant. Like I have people who have bought the course who are inventors that I've had to introduce them to her because they had problems getting their product to market, right? So You need to just broaden where you're searching for grants. All right. How does a startup nonprofit organization get these sponsorships and grants? So I already discussed that. There are startup grants, right? So again, if you don't have the impact yet, what are you going to do? You're going to talk about what you hope your impact will be. And literally go through this replay. Go back through the replay. Since the ADA still is intact, American Disabilities Act, how does DEI affect grants for those who are disabled? I know they are both different. No, not necessarily, because DEI includes those that are disabled. So I already talked about DEI, and where there are ways in which you still want to address, don't change who you serve, right? But you may be able to just change somewhat the language, right? The language. But what I've heard, a lot of the language that they are using to scrub a lot of the websites for DEI really has not affected uh, those that are disabled. They're really looking for terms that deal with racial ethnicity, right? Racial ethnicity. How do you find the best grant for your organization without having a subscription to the websites that allow you to search for grants? Well, you can go to the library and get the foundation directory online for free, totally free. Can I apply for grants without a DUNS number? Absolutely, but there's no such thing as a DUNS number anymore. So a DUNS number was a number that you needed if you were going after government grants and government contracts. That number is now called UEI, your unique entity identifier. But no. So let me explain something to all of you who are still with me. The grants that I'm speaking about, the private foundation grants, the family foundation grants, the community foundation grants, you don't need a certification for those grants, right? Even if they're geared for women-owned businesses or women-led nonprofits, you don't need to be certified as a woman-owned business. That's only if you are going after contracts and government grants. If you're just seeking your average private foundation grant, your community foundation grant, your corporate foundation grant, you don't need those certifications. Now, if you're going after a grant and it says you have to be a woman-owned business, it means that your business has to be 51% or more owned by a woman. But that doesn't mean that you need a certification. The certification is just for your corporate and government contracts. So yes, that's a long way of saying yes, you can apply for grants without a DUNS number. I am part of a church and I'm working on writing a grant camp. I am part of a church and I'm working on writing a grant campaign to raise funds to build a community center for our special needs children, predominantly West African. Where do I even start? I would recommend you buy the course and I would certainly be able to help you. But again, go through this replay. Go through the replay. What you want to do is start with the research because you know exactly what you need money for. You want to build a community center. So when you are searching, again, multiple categories, search for grants that are geared towards organizations that help special needs children, right? You are oh, good, your church has a 501c3. That's important. So you have that hurdle taken care of, right? You also want to build a community center. What are you using the community center for? What you're using the community center for could also be related to how you search for grants because maybe you're teaching. Maybe you're teaching education in that community center. Now you can apply for grants for organizations that are geared towards teaching. So again, multiple categories. So those of you who are buying the course, this is what I'm going to do for all of you who buy the course. When you get into the Facebook group, I'm going to send you a welcome email. This is important. When you get the welcome email, answer it. Because if you answer it, I'm going to help you out singularly, right? So I'm going to ask you a question. When you answer my question, right, I'm going to give you help. I'm going to personally give you help in the Facebook group so that you can get off to a great start. All right? Deal? All right. I'm going to get over to the webinar chat. I see you in the chat. There will be a replay that everyone will get. How often do our general letters of support need to be updated? I would say every maybe a couple of years. Don't let them get more than maybe 2 years old. What approach to incorporating feedback revisions into the grant proposals? What do you mean exactly? What approach to incorporating feedback revisions? I'm not sure what you're asking exactly. My product solves a healthcare problem for people who are diabetic, obese, the elderly, and their hygiene care. My company will create jobs because we are a manufacturer, product design, engineering company. So again, multiple categories, multiple categories. How do I find those foundations? So you need to go back through the replay because I explain exactly how you research to find grants, right? You have multiple categories there. You could be searching for grants because literally I talked about workforce development. You would literally be creating jobs with your organization. So go back through the replay in the section where I mentioned how you search for grants. If you buy the course, that will all be laid out for you. Literally, I have a video that teaches you how to research through these grant applications, right? So you'll know exactly how to do it. Let's see. Okay, I'm only going to read some of this because this is literally 3 paragraphs long and I've got a lot of people in the chat. So I'm just going to skim through this. So you're starting a Christian hangout. That's a nonprofit cafe and jazz lounge in North Carolina. So what you need to know is that there are absolutely grants for faith-based organizations. You want to have Bible studies, social gatherings, sounds wonderful. Yes, there are grants for faith-based organizations. Absolutely, there are. Are there grants for radio and TV? What about radio and TV? You have to be specific, people. The more specific you are, the easier it will be for you to get grant money. Are there grants for radio and TV? What? What are you doing with radio and TV? How are you using radio and TV? Right? There's a Ford Foundation grant right now that is geared solely for people who are creating film that address the African American experience, right? So it's not a question whether or not there's a grant for you, everybody. Not a question whether or not there's grants for you. If you are doing something legal, there's a grant for you. It is about how you are going to find the organization that wants to fund you. And that's where the course comes in. But before we do anything else, we need to welcome Renea, Welcome Life, right? Latoya, Dominique, Angela, Carol, and Sandra, because they bought the course. I will see all of you in the Facebook group. I need to see some clapping of hands. I need to see some hearts because you know what? They're on their way. And people, it's go time. It's March. It's not going to get easier. It's not going to get easier. So I'm offering you a community to come in where you can answer my question and get help immediately, but that overall you can be guided as to where you need to search for grants, how you need to search for grants. Like this course in this community is for people who are ready to get this grant money, right? Because some of you have been waiting a long time, not knowing where to go, not knowing how to go. And in addition to the course, if you need something more intense, I have the 2-day boot camp, and then I have the ongoing grant coaching. But the minimum is this course with my coaching in the Facebook group or the live group coaching session once a month that can get you unstuck. Because I know some of you have not moved forward because you don't have any money or you've been using your own money and you're out, right? You're tired of using your own money, right? Let me say this to all of you. I have a coach. First of all, my coaches think I'm crazy because I'm not charging $2,000 for the course like I'm supposed to. I have a coach that tells me all the time, Linda, you're the one you've been looking for. You're the one you've been looking for. Like nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save your organization. And I'm passing that on to all of you. You are the people that you've been looking for. It's you. It's you, right? Nobody's coming. Like the Calvary, there's no Calvary. Nobody's coming to save your organization. But there are still people who need you, who are waiting on you to open your business or to open your nonprofit. And this has been a dream of some of yours forever. You have the opportunity for what is a small amount of money to get the help that you need to finally get going, right? And use somebody else's money. This is free money, people. This is free money we're talking about. Did you see the testimonials? They invested with 200 some odd dollars and they're getting $200,000, $100,000, $40,000, $5,000, right? Like this can be you. This can be you. As you see, I have services that are more. I keep the course low to help you. It is a $5,000 course, as you will see as soon as you get in it, right? All right, so let's keep going. There are faith-based grants, yes. How do you meet with these foundations? Remember I said so I went through that, right? You might have missed that. You send an email. You send an email, but there's ways you find the contact people. Now, if you use Grant Watch, you're going to have the name of the email. Grant Station, you may get the name in the email, but here's my secret weapon to get the emails, right? LinkedIn, right? Oftentimes, because I have a pro version of LinkedIn, I will go on LinkedIn and I will approach a bank or an organization and say, I need to meet. Like, who should I meet with? Who should I be meeting with? And for all of you, if you've been grant writing and you come across the websites that say by invite only, how many of you have come across the website? You've been searching for grants and it will say invite only. I see a few of you. You know what you do? Yes, you know what that means? You know what that means to me? You know what that means to me? I need to get invited. Some people just walk in like, oh my gosh, you have to be invited. Okay, let me go to the next one. Not me. That means I just need to be invited. So I get myself invited. I find out who is in charge of the grant. I go through LinkedIn to get a name, right? There's a program called Get EI. I'm going to drop this into the chat because you all really need to know about this. There's a program called Get Email.io. Getemail.io will give you the email address of almost anybody around the world. I'm going to say that again. It will give you the email address of almost anybody around the world. And then you send them an email. I mapped it out. So you need to go back through the replay. So I literally created what you need to send. But if you buy the course, the template is in the course. All you have to do is complete the template. There's an email template. I make it super simple. You just send the email template. Or if you want to create a partnership, I have a partnership template. Just complete the partnership template or the email template and send it to them. That's literally part of what you get in the course. The Facebook group is grant writing for non-writers, and you won't get access to it until we let you in, and you have to be a student. All right? You got 3 days. 3 days to get this discount. 3 days to get the grant boot camp, the ongoing group coaching for the price that I've listed, and then the course. You've got 3 days. 3 days. You have until Saturday to get that extra $200 off of the course. And then, of course, there's the grant coaching and then the grant boot camp. All right. The difference between a grant and a sponsorship. So if you get a grant, the organization giving you the grant, they can't expect anything of value from you. Now, they can ask you to create the grantee report, right? To show how you spent their grant money, but they can't expect anything of value from you. A sponsorship is different. When you get a sponsorship, and so many of you are overlooking this opportunity to get sponsorships from local businesses where you are located. I have a sponsorship letter. I have a sponsorship kit in the course, right? When you ask for a sponsorship, expect to be able to give something back to that organization. Maybe they want to put one of their tchotchkes in your swag bag, or maybe they want to put an ad in your program booklet, or maybe they want to talk to your audience or have their name on your marquee, right? A young lady, she has a marketing firm where she helps attorneys to market their law firms. So those are typically high income individuals. I told her, go to your luxury car dealership in your community, have them give you a sponsorship. Maybe they'll give you $30,000 for the opportunity to sit their car, their luxury car, in front of the conference center where you are holding your meeting. It is far easier than you think to get sponsorships. And by the way, banks, go to banks for grants and sponsorships. Go to credit unions for sponsorships. Credit unions don't usually give out grant money. All right. So I'm going to take a couple of other questions in the Q&A, and then I'm going over to the webinar chat because you guys have been patient. Let's see. What is the best way to rebrand a housing discrimination nonprofit, right? So keep in mind, you're just not using ethnic terms. You can still say underrepresented community, underserved community, right? Disparities and fair housing or housing equity. What are your thoughts on grants that have a safe agreement if you win? That they said it was similar to a convertible note where say the grant is $50,000. $25,000 would be in the form of a grant, and the other $25,000 as a safe investment where the organization has shares in the company. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that at all. I would have to do some research. I would be very careful because that's not a grant. If there's a component of a grant where they are getting ready to literally, it sounds to me, I think what you're saying as a safe investment where the organization has shares. So you're saying, okay, maybe I'm not understanding. So you're saying you get part grant and then part shares in that company? That's interesting. I don't see where that's an issue because it's still free money to you. So if they say they're giving you a $50,000 quote unquote grant, $25,000 is cash, and then you get $25,000 worth of shares in their company, right? I don't see where that's maybe an issue for you, but that sounds like a question for your attorney. I'm trying to pay with my credit card. Can I do two payment? You can do two payments with your credit card. Absolutely. Make sure you're using the right code. All right. So really quickly, make sure you're using the right code. I'm going to show you what you need to do. I'm going to share my screen again. You want to do the two payments. This is how you do the two payments. 2 times 275, hit purchase now, right? Put in your, I already put in the coupon code. So put in your coupon code, it will take off $100, right? So you're paying $175 now and $175 a month from now. Then you literally continue on. You put in your email, right? And then you choose your payment, right? Now you can't receive the 4-month same as cash on the 2-month payment plan because that is your payment plan, right? So use your credit card and it will deduct $175 now. So that's what you do. All right. All right. I'm getting through these questions. The Facebook page is grant writing for non-writers, but you're going to be admitted after we are done if you just bought the course. I'm on your site of the chat. I'm not sure what that means. All right, I'm going to go over to the webinar chat. But make sure right now, we have to give everyone stop. We have to stop. We have to stop. We have to give Raina and Denise and Junko and Lynetta some love right now. I need to see some clapping of hands. They were like, well, hold up, Carol. You're not leaving us behind. So Raina, Denise, Junko, and Lynetta, give them some love. You're on your way. You are on your way. I will see you in the Facebook group afterwards. All right. Now I'm over in the chat and just give me a moment. All right. I'm coming down slowly. I said I was going to answer these questions and I am. So I'm just going to need a couple of moments. Write it off. Yes, the course is tax deductible. Yes, you are getting a $5,000 course for $297 that you're going to write off. It's tax deductible. And yes, you get a certificate at the end of the course. You work for a nonprofit, your wife has a small business. Let's see. All right, let me just get down to the questions. The questions. Let's see. Yes, so that question was over in the Q&A. I answered that about the LLC. What are the best grants for me to go after? And you left your website. I can't do research for you now. I need a business plan. So, business plans. What you will notice is that when you complete this course, it will be probably 90% of what you need to complete your business plan. The only difference between the business plan and after you complete my grant template is that a business plan will require additional marketing information. Now, if you need, this is for all of you, by the way, if you need to know how to create a business plan, I'm going to send you to SCORE. SCORE will help you create your business plan. SCORE is funded by the Small Business Administration, totally free. SCORE, let's see, it's score.org. I think it's score.org. SCORE is a group of retired executives. Let me put the HTTP so that you can get to this quick. And there is one in most major cities. Score.org will help you to create a business plan. All right. All right. Let's see. All right. Let me go back up. I'm coming back down through the questions. So that was, let's see. I understand some of you are going broke. I understand. You need to know that this grant money is available. You really do. A young lady, oh my goodness, this was maybe 3 weeks ago. She told me that she had her nonprofit for 17 years, had never received a grant. It literally hurt my heart, like literally hurt my heart to hear this because she didn't know where to go. She didn't know what to do. People always tell me you can't use grants for paying staff. Is that true? That's very untrue. This is why you have to go to resources who are knowledgeable. That's very untrue. Is there a grant for my non-medical home health agency? I need one ASAP. You can certainly do your search. Now, let me say this to all of you. Grants are not an ASAP industry. No, grants are not an ASAP industry. Grants are a marathon, not a sprint. Now, there are times when you can go to your local community foundation and meet with them. And if you are an established organization and you can show impact, you meet with them and you find out whether or not they have a discretionary grant, because oftentimes discretionary grants are lower. So maybe they're $5,000 or $10,000, which means they can be approved more quickly. So you may not go through the normal processes of waiting for the board of directors to approve it. Sometimes the program director has the ability to approve discretionary grants, and they are provided much more quickly. Sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, because the average time span to get a grant is 3 months, right? Let's see. All right, let's see. What would you say that a grant is easier to get if you're a nonprofit? There are more grants available for nonprofits. It depends on what the organization is. Remember, there are some grants that are only for small businesses, right? Only for small businesses. Grants have been given to nonprofits for a longer amount of time, and there are many, many, many more grants for nonprofits. But easier, I don't know if I would use that term. My biggest problem has been logging to government websites. They set double and sometimes triple confirmation. Yes. Even going in person, sometimes it doesn't work. I registered, but it's such a time consuming that it's frustrating. If you log into a government website, you know it's all going to be about security, right? Yes. Now we had to deal with word counts. See, I love word counts. I love word counts. I love character counts. I love word counts. Like help me not to be wordy, right? So I love it. I love word counts. So here's what you do. This is a gem for all of you, right? This is where AI comes in, right? Artificial intelligence comes in. So let's say the grant is only giving you 1,000 characters and you're a little wordy, right? You're a little verbose. So you write something that's 2,000 word characters. Dump that into AI and have AI give you and rewrite it and give you a grant application to answer that question that's only 1,000 characters. AI is phenomenal at doing that. Phenomenal. But you have to know how to talk to it. You have to make sure you tell it to make sure that it includes what is most important, right, in that answer. But I happen to love word counts. All right, let's see. I see some federal government employees. Thank you for being civil servants. Yes, truly. We hope your position stays safe. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any CPAs, can we write off expenses for businesses even if we win grants? What do you mean by that? So if you, so first of all, if you win a grant, you need to keep in mind that you're going to pay taxes on the grant if you are a small business. If you are a small business, you will need to pay taxes on the grant. If you are a nonprofit, you don't pay taxes, so no. But you're asking, can you write off the expenses that you acquired through grant funding? That's a very interesting question. I'll have to research that one for you. These foundations are usually only taking groups that are invited. How do we get recognized by these foundations and corporations that do not know about our organization or our works in our community? That's just, I'm sorry, that's not true. So foundations are not just taking groups that are invited. There are some foundations that take groups that are invited. And again, you get yourself invited. Like you have to provide the initiative to meet with these organizations. Like there's no getting around creating that relationship. Or there may be someone that you know mutually. So maybe your board member knows somebody at that foundation. This is why it is so important to connect with community organizations because you never know who knows who. Maybe you've been trying to meet with this foundation for 6 months, but you've connected with a social service agency or the library or another organization. And somebody in that new organization that you've connected with knows somebody in the foundation. That's how this works. It's all built on relationships. Like there's no way to get around this, right? Even if it means you meeting with the foundation and creating that relationship or getting an avenue to meet with the foundation because you met someone in the community who happened to know someone who knew someone else who worked for the foundation, right? Especially in these tight communities, oftentimes it really is who you know or who you know who knows who you need to know, right? There's really no way of getting around that. Good, Rhonda. All right, let me just move through. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions in the webinar chat. Okay, because I did see quite a few, and I'm trying to get through all of these. You will all get the recording via your email. So Melissa, if you could just drop my email address into the chat, please. If you everyone could please put this email address into your safe senders list or your email contact list because I just don't want the replay going to your spam. All right. Corporations have direct access to user databases that can quantify how much of their market share is driven by actual DEI, consumers, and partnerships. Yeah, some of them I think are making decisions based on how large of their customer base are people that's within that DEI. DEI does cover a huge landscape. It really is. I mean, it really does. Let me just make sure. Let's see. Okay, let me just search for a few other questions, then I'm going to wrap it up. Let's see. I want to create a family life center to promote family cohesion for families adversely affected by traumatic experiences. Is that a nonprofit or for-profit? All right, let's see. Let me just see what else we have, and then we're going to. So the language that I talked about, I literally covered in the webinar, the language that you can use instead of like Black or, women owned. All right, let me just make sure. I need $150,000 to start a micro school. What does that mean, micro school? Let's see. Okay, let's just see here. I have issues with our Facebook. I cannot get the administration to get control. This is the second Facebook we do. Is there help on this? How to start a website? How to create a website? Yeah, so websites, I don't want a website to keep you from moving forward because there's Wix, there's Squarespace, they have templates now that you can use. So it's relatively easy to create a website because I don't want you to try to spend, too much money on building some, super complicated website. It doesn't have to be complicated, but I don't want you to have the lack of a website to keep you from it. Just create a website. It can be simple. It just needs to showcase who you are and your impact and who you're serving. But Squarespace and Wix, they both have templates. And the person who is one of the moderators and administrators of the Facebook group is my web developer. She's been in this business 25 years. I know she could help you as well. There are absolutely grants for reentry citizens. That's one of the largest areas. There are DOJ grants for reentry programs, Department of Justice grants, grants given by your city. And let me say this to all of you left. 3 areas where you need to be searching for grants, 3 areas. One is still based on your ethnicity and your gender because there are still grants that are geared towards Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, right? I included some in the webinar. Next, you have your mission. Match your mission with the mission of these foundations. And last, and I think this is the one that most of you miss, go to your industry. For example, Shea Moisture, they make shampoo and conditioners. They provide a grant for women who are, or men who are opening up hair care salons, same industry, right? Tito's, I think they're called Tito's Hennessy. They make some type of liquor. If you're opening up a restaurant, try to get one of their grants. Same industry, right? Tito's make alcohol. Tito's makes alcohol. Hennessy, they make an alcohol. Same industry. You want to open up a nail salon? Go to Opie. They make nail polish. Find out where they're not. They have a grant. Are you in transportation? Go to FedEx. I know for a fact FedEx has grants. UPS, likely, they have grants too. Same industry. Don't overlook your industries. All right. Can you use only can you only use grants for nonprofits? What about profits? So literally that's what I've talked about for the last hour and a half. So just go back and review the session. Absolutely. Grants are available for small businesses, your for-profits, and your nonprofits. All right, let me just make sure I'm getting down to the bottom here that I've answered the questions. I know we've gone quite long, but we're almost done. I want to get to the last of the questions. Let's see. Nonprofit and geared is geared towards cancer patients in need of financial assistance and resources while in treatment and survivors needing assistance beyond treatment. So again, multiple categories, right? Health and wellness. You should be looking in areas of health and wellness. You have a nonprofit, financial assistance, right? Many different areas. Mental health and wellness, right? Because you're going to be dealing with survivors too. So part of that, you should be covering the mental health and wellness piece. It sounds like you are. So that's absolutely mental health and wellness and medical health. All right, let's see. I had someone who asked me for my annual income and social security number for a grant. So you should have an EIN. This is why you have to protect yourself. Get an EIN, an employer identification number. And I don't know what you mean by someone asked you for that. There should be a grant application, right? And it's not your annual income. Keep in mind, people, a grant is for your nonprofit or your for-profit, your small business or your nonprofit. And yes, if it's legitimate, they're going to want to know your numbers. They want to know because you're going to need to submit an operating budget, an annual operating budget, or your annual budget. So you're going to need to know, they're going to want to know, what are you earning a year, right? What are your earnings? All right. All right. LinkedIn is a fantastic tool. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to scroll down to the end and then we're going to wrap it up. All right. Let me just make sure that I am at the end here. Let's see. Let's see here. Skip is another resource. I've heard of Skip and Galaxy of Stars. I don't know anyone that have received any grants from them, but I've heard of them before. Urban League will absolutely help you get certifications. Absolutely. Urban League is fantastic. Fantastic for getting certifications. All right, let me just make sure I received a grant from a bank that I wasn't a member at last year. You see, it's true. Like, I'm not making this stuff up. You can get grant money from banks, and you should not have to be a member of that bank. Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, so it's 297 for everything. I know that's, people are thinking that's a monthly amount. No, it's one payment, 297. 297, right? That includes everything. The course, the Facebook group, the group coaching call. You will get the replay. You will get the replay. A website is not really required. That I'm going to disagree with you on because I think a website is very important for you getting grant money because a website is not, some organizations don't want to look at your Facebook page. They don't want to look at a landing page. They would prefer that you have a website. And I know organizations, excuse me, that were trying to get grant money before they just set up just the most basic of websites. As soon as they set up that website where they could showcase, you want a website to showcase your information. They started getting grant money. One of my students started getting grant money, right? You want to be able to showcase. By the way, for those of you who have difficulty logging into like sam.gov or I think one is called id.gov, where you can get your UEI, your unique entity identifier. I can tell you that they have phenomenal customer service. Like sams.gov, they have phenomenal customer service. They will literally talk you through getting on grants.gov or either grants.gov or sam.gov. Try their customer service number. They really do a wonderful job of talking you through that process. All right, let's just see. Right, Wix. Someone recommended Perplexity AI as another tool. Oh, thank you, Karen. Karen is a student. She's in the Facebook group. She said the Facebook chat group is wonderful. We celebrate the successes of all, right? Absolutely. How do we hire you as a private consultant? The email. Melissa, if you could just drop my email again into the chat, send me an email, and then we'll have a conversation. But yes, I do provide private consultations. I crisscross the country for organizations that literally want me to teach them grant writing in person. I will do that as well. I will also provide presentations remotely. So if your organization wants me to teach them directly, I can do it remotely or in person, and it will be completely catered to your organization. So the grant research that we talk about, the partnerships that will be built, right? It will be catered to your organization. All right. Thank you, Rachel. Let's see. I hope you have renewed hope. I hope you allow me to help you through this maze because it can be a maze, right? Thank you, Nina. Nina says she loves the course. Thank you, Nina. Tanisha, yes, Tanisha. Welcome, Tanisha. Tanisha is a student. Look at all my students joining. Ella is a student in the course. Darlene is a student. She's taking it now. So for all of you students, if you want the ongoing accountability, think about the ongoing grant coaching. Just to give you that accountability, I want to make sure that you are following through and applying for those grants. Right, so the live group coaching session is always the last Monday of the month. So one will be coming up in a couple of weeks. Oh my gosh, I've got to read this from Karen. Didn't pay her for this. Didn't pay her for this. Thank you, Karen. You are a blessing, Miss Peavy. I've already secured $6,000 worth of grants. I am working on a grant now for $10,000. The course is definitely worth a lot more than $297. Thank you. Thank you. Do you see the ROI, the return on investment? She paid 200 some odd dollars. She got a $6,000 grant. She's working on a $10,000 grant. Like these are real people. The people in the testimonials, $200,000, $10,000, right? $750, right? That's real money that is for you, free of charge, right? Grant money is free money to you. I want you to keep this in mind, right? I'm trying to help you secure free money. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karen. You're a joy. You are a joy in the course. Kimberly, yes, the course never expires. People, now come on. How often do you hear that? You know, with these courses, you get what? What do you get? 2 months, 3 months, maybe 6 months. The course never expires. The coupon does. The coupon expires in 3 days. You have until Saturday. You can still, yes, Stacy, send me an email. Yes, you can. Rosemary, send me an email because I need to make sure that you get into the Facebook group. So depending on what state you live in, they have grants and vouchers to purchase vehicles. I've seen that before. A couple of years ago, Progressive had a grant opportunity where you had to buy a car. It was a $25,000 grant and you had to buy a car with it. So that is possible. What is the price if you're already in the course? The price of what exactly? You're already in the course, so you're not paying again for the course. If you want the group coaching, you can get the group coaching at the price stated or the 2-day boot camp. The 2-day boot camp is on a completely different level because at the end of those 2 days, you have the grant template and you will literally have a completed grant application. Those are for people who they just don't want it to linger on for months and months and months. They want an expedited version, right? They want expedited results. Thank you, Lakeisha. Yes, Lakeisha, thank you for reminding me. So she says it's worth it just to be in the Facebook group. I'm telling you, people, it is because in the Facebook group there is a file system where you can get templates. The foundation template, an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, and if there's a template that you don't see in the Facebook group, we will get that template for you. If there's a template that you need and you don't see, we'll get that for you. This is all for $297. For $297. This is everything you get. And you're right. And what I've seen, now this is on a volunteer basis. Sometimes people will maybe put their pitch deck into the file or part of the grant, and they will ask on a volunteer basis if anybody will just take a look at it. You can do that on a volunteer basis. That's not a given. You have to ask. All right, let me just make sure. All right, let me go down to the end because I have to wrap it up. Let's see. So I can buy it as a nonprofit. So the course is for for-profits or nonprofits. It doesn't matter your profit status. The price is the same. It's $297. Use all lowercase. Yes, all lowercase for the discount. Does the boot camp include the other things? Yes. So super quickly, let me get to the boot camp. I'm going to share my screen for the person asking for the boot camp. There we go. This is the boot camp, right? 2 days, 2-day virtual boot camp, $19.97. This is everything you get. Day one, you're going to master the fundamentals. I'm going to teach you how to write grants. I'm going to teach you how to use artificial intelligence. We're going to find a list of grants for you, local and national. We're going to make sure that you have a completed grant template when you are done. We're going to help you choose the community partners. This is all geared towards your organization. So on day 2, you are completing that grant template, right? I'm going to do a walkthrough of a real grant so that you see how to best answer specific questions. You're going to leave with the implementation plan. You're going to leave with a completed template, but also we're going to choose out of the list of grants, we're going to choose one grant. We're going to go through and complete. We're going to together complete that grant application. All right. And then you also get the course, you get the success kit, you get the $1 Million Grant Roadmap, you get the artificial intelligence guide, and you get so many templates. All of this is included. That's why it's literally worth like almost over $10,000, $12,500 for $19.97. Or you can take the 2 payments of $12.49. While I'm in here, let me quickly go over to the grant coaching. One package, right? 3 months. We meet 3 times, 60-minute session. We're going to work on strategy, research, implementation, and accountability. I'm going to completely review one of your grant applications. You get access to the course and everything else. The Facebook group, the $1 Million Grant Roadmap, the success kit, templates, the live group coaching calls. The 6-month plan, you get 6 sessions, but you also get 3 complete grant reviews, right? So the 3-month program is $19.97, or we have a 3-month payment plan of $7.97. The 6-month payment plan is 3 payments of $13.99, or you pay $37.97. The package 2 is worth almost $20,000, and you're getting that for what, $37.97? Package 1 is worth $10,999. You're getting it for $19.97. All right. I'm going to scroll down here and get to the rest of these questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. The course is a bonus in the boot camp. It's a bonus that you get. Let's see, other questions. Thank you, Junko. But Dr. Shakila, send me an email. Send me an email, Dr. Shakila. Send me an email with that question. And the other person that asked the question, send me an email. Just send me an email about the boot camp. For the 2 of you that are in the course, just send me an email. All right, let's see. The MOU, yes, there's an MOU so that you know what that MOU looks like. If you are going to be partnering with an organization, make sure the organization and you complete an MOU so that there's no issues, right? So if the organization is saying that they're going to provide you with personnel to help you fulfill your program, you make sure you have it in writing. All right. Kathleen, congratulations, Kathleen. I remember you. You're in Toledo. Um, I just received my first notice that we will be awarded $10,000. Oh my gosh. Thank goodness. I know, Kathleen. I know that was a journey for you. I remember we met, right? We had the one-on-one. We had the one-on-one, and I know that was a real journey for you. So I am so glad you did what you needed to do and it worked out. $10,000. $10,000. Oh my gosh. Karen says, then I got $12,000 worth of grants for individuals who needed help. Wow. Excellent. So you see what happens? This is an investment. $297. You see what the return is? It's really exponentially based on what you're paying. But Dr. Shakila, and there was one other person that asked me that question. Send me an email. Send me an email. All right. Let's see. I believe we're done. I believe we are done. Let me just make absolutely sure. I have a business plan. I've written the content for the grants and submitted for an Amber grant. What I need most is a template. Right. Right. You will get the template. You will get a template through the course. No problem at all. You will end up with a template. What I need most is a template, coaching on how to approach businesses and the right way to introduce. So that can happen in the one-on-one. Also, in the boot camp, I do mock interviews. So as part of the boot camp, if you take the boot camp training, I will do mock interviews with you so that I make sure when you get into that interview, you know exactly what to say. You know exactly how to introduce your organization. You literally, I have you create a 60-second elevator pitch, but also we do mock interviews so that I know that you are ready to meet with that foundation. Yes, that's part of the boot camp. And if you want us to do that as a part of the group coaching, we can do that as well. We can do mock interviews. They're very, very helpful. Very helpful. All right. I believe we are done. Let me just make sure. I wanted to make sure I'd answered all of the questions. Let me get down to the bottom here. All right. Let me just make sure. Yes, Amy, yes, you can send me an email. Latanya and Amy and Dr. Sheila, your students, you're asking about the boot camp and your students, just send me an email. All right. What is the grant research website at? Oh, so that's Foundation Directory Online at the library. Foundation Directory Online. All right. All right. So the three of you send me an email. All right. Ah, thank you, Kathleen. I used to live in Toledo. She's in Toledo. The boot camp is not always available. No, the boot camp is not always available. Those are the only dates I have right now is the end of March. But there may be others. There may be others. So Angela, send me a separate email about the boot camp. Send me a separate email. All right. So my email is in the chat. All right. I want to make sure I got through the last of the questions. And I did. Let me go back over to the Q&A. Let me make sure I got through these. You have access to everything when you take the boot camp, everything. The group coaching and the boot camp gives you access to everything. The Facebook group, everything you get with the course, you get in the boot camp and with the group coaching, everything. You just get a lot more. You get everything that you get with the course, but a lot more. Really quickly, I'm applying for project grants with the Lilly Foundation. My church is 50 years old, and should I bring up the point? I've been a pastor for only 2 years since a lot of work has been done over it. I don't know. I wouldn't bring that up. No. Can you show again where to go for for the program package? I've never done grant writing before. I do not know how to do it, or who to send the program package. I'm not sure. I understand what you're asking, the program package. So that's going to be sent to the name of the person on the grant. There's not just one grant. It depends on what grant you're applying for. You send your grant application to the name on the grant, right? How do you get a personal session and additional information being a VIP member? How do you get a personal session? So if you've already bought the course and you want an additional private session, send me an email. Are there funds available for transitional housing for the homeless? Yes, absolutely. You mentioned to be specific about the population that you serve, but if your mission is fighting housing discrimination under federal civil rights law, you're required to serve all protected categories. That's fine. So how do you specify a targeted population without potentially being discriminatory? You mentioned specific about population if your mission is fighting housing discrimination. So in that case, that's fine, right? But if you're fighting housing discrimination, when you look at who you serve, right? Look at who you serve, look at whom you've served over the last, it could be the last 6 months, it could be the last year. There's going to be a target population defined, right? Now, you don't necessarily have to include that target population in your case in the grant, but as you are seeking new grant opportunities, keep that target population in mind as you are searching for different kinds of grants. Because if it includes underrepresented communities, even though you may not want to write that in the application, you should still be seeking grants that are geared towards serving underrepresented communities, right? So that's why it's important to know who you are serving because it will help you to know where to search for your grants. All right, let's see. Can we show? Let me make sure. Okay, I think I am done. Can you show? Yep. All right, we are done. I want to thank everyone for hopping on. This has been a marathon session. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you hopped on. Keep in mind you've got 3 days to get the additional discount. And hopefully I will see you in the Facebook group. I hope to see you in the Facebook group. And I expect to get the emails from those of you who are students who asked specifically about the boot camp. Yes, email me if you cannot get into the Facebook group. Oftentimes, if you can't get into the Facebook group, it's because you have a different name. You have a different Facebook group name than the name you use for the course. And sometimes we just have no way of knowing that it's the same person because oftentimes we forget that we have a different Facebook profile than the name that we use to sign up for the course. But we will investigate that to make sure that you get into the course. All right, let me just make sure that I am done here. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for hopping on. I know again that you could have been elsewhere. I know you could have been elsewhere rather than hopping on at 7 o'clock, right, with me. And so I appreciate that very, very much. I hope to see you all really in the Facebook group over the course of the next 3 days because I hope you buy the course. I hope you get the help that you need. I hope you come in to the program and allow us to help you, allow me to help you. Hopefully, those of you who want to sign up for the boot camp will sign up for the boot camp. It is March 27th and 28th. I will answer the emails from those of you who are students who were asking specific questions. Just send me the email. And those of you who want additional accountability, hopefully you'll sign up for the group coaching. But for those of you who are signing up for the course, I will absolutely see you in the Facebook group. And hopefully, like I said, that's all of you because it's go time, people. I can't stress this enough. This is the opportunity for you to know how to navigate through this maze that we're in, right? Because of the grants. But what I want you to be is encouraged and know that grants are still available. They're still available, right? It's just how you navigate and know how to apply, how you tweak language, but what you need is the support and the help. So many of you are asking great questions. I would be able to certainly respond in a much more in-depth way if you're in the course, right? Because again, when you get into the Facebook group, answer my question and I can help you right away. And also, it is a portal for you to come for help anytime you have a question. That Facebook group is open 24/7, right? So anytime you have a question, you cannot ask me too many questions in the Facebook group. And also, just so you know, this is an additional help. When you buy the course, there's something called a discussion starter in every single lesson. Ask a question there because that comes directly to me and I will answer it. So you get direct help literally as you're moving through the course so that you don't get stuck. All right? All right. So thank you so much. I want you to have a blessed rest of your week and a blessed weekend and a blessed rest of the year. And people, be encouraged. I don't want you to stop. I don't want this to be another webinar that you came to and you don't do anything with the information. I would love for you to buy the course. I would love for you to allow me to coach you. I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, but even if you don't buy the course, don't do nothing, right? Whatever you do, keep moving forward. Take the replay, move forward because the best defense against what is happening around us is a successful business or a successful nonprofit. That is your best defense. And put yourself in a position to be able to accomplish that. All right. And keep in mind what I said before. You are the one that you've been waiting for. Take this in your hands, but do it in a supportive environment where you get the help that you need. All right. All right. So thank you so much. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals, and founder of the company Lepov Consulting. So thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you for hopping on. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has been transformative for you. And I hope you take it as encouragement to move forward into your destiny, into what you were literally put on this earth to do. Just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Thank you so much. I want to thank Melissa, who has been helping me. It's probably 3 o'clock in the morning in Africa right now. So let's give some love to Melissa, who hopped on to help me with the back end of it. Thanks, Melissa, and thank you all so much. So God bless you, and I hope to see you in that Facebook group. I hope to see you in the course or during the boot camp, right? Oh my gosh, you're going to love the boot camp. Those of you who are even thinking about it, you're going to love the boot camp. I have testimonials from past boot camps, all right? All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.